So of course the new Creed fragrance on the market is Absolute Aventus. It seems like a lot of people are giving it such praise, and of course I'm excited to cover it on my channel very soon as well. But just before that, we had the release of Carmina. Here we have an inspiration for it already. This is by the Dua brand. It's called The Poem. I'm very excited to give you my thoughts on this brand new inspiration, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about this rose, peony, musk, and incense-based fragrance with a touch of cherry in there as well, I do want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and please give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So, like I said before, Carmina just came out. There's May Rose, there's peony, there's saffron, cherry, there's musk, frankincense, myrrh, and broxin, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of really interesting ingredients, and it does have this soft, smooth, romantic nature about it. And despite the fact that there is cherry in here, it's not very tart, it's not very sweet. It does have a touch of spice on account of the saffron. And while I don't own Carmina, I did take a trip last month, was it, or fairly recently, to Bergdorf Goodman in Manhattan, and I actually tried Carmina there, and I thought to myself, this is really interesting. This is a great high quality floral fragrance. Well, there's finally, and it didn't take long, there's finally an inspiration for this fragrance. I'm going to be telling you all about the smell in just a little while. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. Now, the first thing that you're going to notice about this is that genial floral nature. So of course you have the May Rose and you have the peony, and the first compliment that I need to pay this particular fragrance is that it smells so lush, so natural, so organic, so full, and so vivacious at the same time. It's very bright, charismatic, it's full of life, it's jubilant, and I like that sprightly nature about it, and the fact that it's accomplished without the assistance of citrus. And I'm not doubting that there's citrus in here, even though it's not reflected in the note breakdown. I'm pretty convinced that there is a bit of citrus in here as well, but I like that that brightness is established through these organic floral components, and I think that's really, really wonderful. As far as the cherry is concerned, of course it's going to evoke, some other cherry-based fragrances that you might have tried, whether it be Lost Cherry by Tom Ford or any number of the cherry variants from the Private Blends, or Venom of Love by Navitus, and there's just some Cherry Punk by Room 1015. The cherry in here, it's not that noticeable. And perhaps that's going to be a pitfall for a lot of people, especially if you're going into it expecting there to be this sort of lush, vanillic, sweet, tart, ripe cherry accord, and you're not going to get that. As a matter of fact, all things considered, this fragrance is pretty dry. And what I mean by that is that it's lacking sweetness. Sure, you're going to have the frankincense, you're going to have the myrrh, you're going to have these resinous ingredients, the clean bed of musk and the dried down ambroxan, also contributing to the freshness, and it's not smoky. So it's not that type of an incense, but it just smells very warm, very resonant without leaning sweet. And I think that's an important thing to mention about this fragrance. But the star player here is not the cherry, it's not the incense, it's not even the saffron, it is the rose. You must be a fan of rose to really appreciate this fragrance. The good news is that I love rose, right? I love fragrances like Lyric for Men by Amouage, and I even creatively directed one called Oud Luxuria by Navitus Parfum, the most expensive fragrance that Navitus Parfum has ever manufactured. I love the smell of rose. Whether it's, May Rose or Rose Centifolia, Turkish Rose, so on and so forth, they're all quite beautiful. I just love the smell of rose. And in this fragrance, I can say that it's a very natural, high quality rendition of rose that's being utilized. And I think if you are a fan of rose, if you're a fan of peony, if you're a fan of some of these warm, sort of romantic floral ingredients, if you can almost imagine like a Delina by Parfum de Marly without the sweetness, that's kind of what you can expect here. So I think it's really interesting that instead of lychee, there's cherry, and then instead of vanilla, there's some ambery incense ingredients. So it's a similar profile, it's a similar structure, but it's done so differently. The Poem is Dua's inspiration of Carmina by Creed. Definitely check it out. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I'm not reviewing Carmina. right? I'm reviewing the poem. So it's not a unique fragrance. It's an inspiration, but the overall smell, very easy to get along with. It does have a certain mass appeal to it, but again, you have to be a fan of rose and you have to be a fan of floral ingredients. In terms of the longevity, of course, this is a Dua, it's extrait de parfum, and so you are going to get about 10 hours on your skin. Projection was really good for the first hour and a half of application. It radiated a little bit beyond an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 6 or 7, a skin scent right around hour 10. In terms of the versatility, I do think it's a little feminine leaning, especially if you've made that association between floral perfumes and women's perfumes, but I think it's perfectly unisex, to be honest with you. Great for formal scenarios, great for any time of the year, but I would prioritize wearing this one in the spring just because it is floral leaning. But of course, the performance makes it so that you can wear this comfortably in the winter or the cold weather as well. And as far as the presentation is concerned, the poem, I mean, it just sounds romantic, and I love this pinkish purplish hue on the label here. My final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are interested in a high quality rose and peony fragrance, if you like fragrances like Delina by Parfum de Marly, but you want it without the sweetness, but all of that romantic quality preserved, check out the poem by the Dua brand. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and please give this video a thumbs up. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.